CDMP TV and film presentation from Crazy D, the mind who brings you the Black Ice Chronicles, the Females DVD, and Situations DVD, brings you The Shifter. It's Halloween night at Crazy D's, and a pesky vamp is out for blood. Beware of the Shifter.
That's it. You gotta go beat it damn scram, man. Damn.
Why don't you be a doll and find me a place to change? I need a place to change my clothes before I go.
What? Don't try to hold me on the phone.
D! You been holding out on me?
I was just about to stop and help. You know I helped the crackheads, D.
Some people just don't have originality with their outfits.
It's like I hear voices in my head talking to me and shit.
I saw that punk ass Charles Pippin and his cousin leaving here.
I learned the grace pose. Get your camera ready.
We're here, like we said, for trick or treat. Crazy, what did you see? This is wild by something.
You see that shit?
That crazy stuck in there. I don't know what the fuck that was for.
Right. Can't stand that shit.
Well, who's the pet bitch?
Like, I
what
don't
the fuck was she need all hoes? I told her to scratch that poke that bitch out.
Beware of the Shifter. Be at the premiere if you dare.
Brother Muhammad, if you I see you got the sax. If you can hit it, we just gonna move the mic out the way and just let you go ahead and hit it. We're over here at the West Las Vegas Library Theater as part of the summer program for our youth. Brother Muhammad participated. Let's hear what you got. participated way back when, and I was here giving back. Brother Muhammad, thank you so much. One of the alumni of the Summer Las Vegas Performing Arts Program. At the helm, one of the folks that you gotta say is putting it down, because while the youth may not know, we know. While we don't know where he goes and what happens, when you have talent that's willing to share and give back to the community, as in the form of the icon that's sitting right here next to me, I'm gonna tell you, this brother meant something to me, and still does, because the images that he created put my life in front of me on TV and on film. I'm not gonna tell you how many films he's been in and how many things he's done. I'm just gonna tell you, he already has a day here in Las Vegas. That's right. We have an Antonio Fargas Day. They may not have other things, but we got Antonio Fargas Day, historically bound in history forever, as part of our Kemet in the Desert series. I know the man's work. Thank you so much for making time to vote with our youth in the Summer Arts Program. Mr. Antonio Fargas, thank you so much. How are you doing, Icon?
And we are back. It's your man, the Turntable Assassin, and I promised you I was going to have, and I said it, that's right, I'm country, we going to have. I have the beautiful, the talented, the gifted. I grew up with this lady. I love her. Can I keep it on? Listen. 100, my first crush. I'm so serious, my first crush. Before Janet, I couldn't have a crush on Janet. She was little Penny. I couldn't crush on Penny, but I crushed on Thelma. But ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Miss Bernadette Stannis. Hey.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You know what? I told you, we don't do interviews.
Right.
We just going to have a conversation.
Yes.
What is going on with Bernadette Stannis right now?
The Black Ice Chronicles, Females DVD.
I don't think you realize who the f you talking to.
Written, filmed, and directed by Crazy D.
Look, Crazy D, I want to work with you. So, how long before we start shooting? I don't have all day, but...
You don't have all day.
Selling now.
I see you still got them lips.
This is a reality that's going on right now in the streets. People are being targeted. People are being... just the whole 9 yards. In many ways, snatched up, railroaded into a prison industrial complex system, and there you go, becoming the new modern day slave.
Okay, the reason why I asked that question is more as far as the person protecting himself, not outward appearance, because I realize that as human beings, we should be able to dress like we like to dress, right? Because even in the 20s and 30s, 40s and 50s, when the zoot suits were out and the men were dressed in three-piece suits, the police would drive up to the corners, and it would be a scatter mode. Still the same, even though they were dressed to the nines, so to speak. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how we're dressed. What I'm saying is, how do we get our youth and our young men to be aware that they're hunted, and thus be aware of surroundings? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more for us, not for our outward appearance to someone else.
Yeah, I got you on that, because as you begin to talk about that in terms of not having to be regulated into wearing whatever it is that the society wants us to wear, we should be able to define for ourselves what we want for ourselves. I remember that campaign that was out not too long ago, where the RZA had said something kind of similar, where hey man, people should be dressing differently in order to do this and that, and all of a sudden there was this huge Tell RZA this person was wearing a suit campaign that was going on. Of course, you had the Sanctuary, Without Sanctuary, the book that showed clearly countless number of black people in this country, Africans in this country, America, being lynched, being strung up on trees and having their lives taken away from them, and they were dressed in suits,
or in army or military uniform.
Yes.
Bars.
I said every verse is dedicated to my day ones, who always kept it G and never changed up. The big homies who's the reason why we came up, and they taught us game and ain't let this town change us. I can't forget my Brody Keys, homie caged up. We make you move so that when you home, you A1.
Just really though, if you with a person that's hating on your dream, you gotta leave that motherfucker. Cause they ain't cool for you. They hating. They not right for you though. You got you some dreams, man. You better chase them dreams. If you ain't got no dreams, all you got is nightmares. Okay. Just keep it real. Just a little bit from me to you. Now with that being said, some dreams got expiration dates. Like if you was born before 1970 and you ain't never been in no rap video, you might want to stop rapping, nigga. That's for real. Quit playing though. Quit playing though. Go full time at the job. Why is you playing?
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made the curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart.
Hi, this is Marva King, and I am here with the film review. That part, baby.
It's your boy B-Town's Power 88. You know how it is. We're going down the world famous Bomb Squad. Right now, you're chilling with my man Crazy D, and you're checking out the film review. We got movies, music, culture, politics, and all types of society events going on right here on the film review.
What up? You know who it is. It's the infamous one, the infamous DJ Remix. And it's a big ass shirt, but I'm going to represent for Lordland Films. That's how we do it. Lordland Films, I'm just saying. You have been warned.
What's up? This your man DJ Movie, the Party Rocker, representing Power 88 FM, and you are watching the film review.
Hey, what's up? This is Tori Russell, the founder and director of Broadway in the Hood. We love you all. Reach Broadway in the Hood at broadwayinthehood.org or 702-482-8777. You are watching and looking at the film review.
Crazy D, y'all. The legendary Crazy D. Crazy D is before his time. The musical digital man. And I want to say right now, what's up to Crazy D? Crazy D always one of my #1 supporters, man. A good man, good family man. Crazy D. Tell everybody where to follow you at right now. I want everybody to go follow Crazy D.
What up, Crayzon? Crazy D, the legendary Crazy D. What up, dog? Yo, Nipsey got some joints, man.
All right, people. This is Crazy D, and I'm standing here with, of course, Sharon from TC's Barbecue Crib. Go over here so you can see the sign real quick.
You know, we need a black television station because nobody is going to be there for us like we are. So come out and support. It's a free event from 6:30 to 9:30. It'll be live entertainment. You'll be able to receive information on the channel, how to get the channel, if you want to have content on the channel.
That's right. And remember, the event is free, but the food isn't. So come early and get a meal. See you tomorrow. TC's Barbecue Crib.
Hi, this is Bernadette Stanis, Thelma from Good Times, and you're watching the film review.
So she just left. Film review. It's a film review. Thought you knew.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rodney Smith with the film review.
This is another great episode of the film review. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D. And this is the film review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. Sunday at 5:30 on Crayzon Deeyon page on Facebook. Live stream. The film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the film review. Hey, what's going on, people? How you doing? This is another great episode of the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We are your hosts. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And before we go any further, we have to let you know. We have to let you know this one thing right here as I bring this up. Bring this up so everybody can see. Put it in the center. And then we're going to go ahead and apply it. Let me drop this down and go like this. You see that? We've got the new film review periodical out. That's right. And it's brought to you by our first advertisement partner, TC's Barbecue Crib. Matter of fact, you really can't see it, but you'll see right here, there's a barcode on the front of it, right?
Yep.
You can go right up to TC's Barbecue Crib right now. It's up there. It's going to be across the city. Starting this week, you'll be able to take the pamphlets in, the periodical in, scan the code, and get your discount on one full meal at our first advertising partner, TC's Barbecue Crib. That's 3655 South Durango Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada. It is definitely, when you land in the city of Las Vegas, it is definitely
A must.
travel to destination. It's a landmark right here in the city. She's for the community. He's for the community. TC's Barbecue Crib is for the community. When you go in there, you see the whole family environment. You see generations of family on the wall, and the food is delicious.
And I love the staff.
Staff. Matter of fact, when I went in there to put the posters up, Sharon wasn't there, but she had professional staff. I want to shout out to KJ because he was very professional, and he assisted me in being able to put the posters up when Sharon wasn't there. So we want to shout out to KJ. And just going over to TC's Barbecue Crib. That's 3655 South Durango Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's right on the line of Summerlin and Las Vegas, Nevada, and you need to be there. All right, people. So now that we have that particular part out the way, make sure you pick up the periodical. You know, let me tell you something about the periodical while we're here. We don't have to come out every month with the periodical. That's why it's called a periodical.
Periodically.
That's right. We can come out periodically, you know, like every 3 months, you know what I mean? Come out with something, because when you go to the periodical and you pick it up, you're able to use the different addresses to the websites like lordlandfilms.com. And when you go to lordlandfilms.com, you're able to read the writings. You're able to watch the videos. When you go to vimeo.com/showcase/ by Crazy D, you're able to go there and watch the various programming that we have, the channel. Let me break this down for you, because people might not know the difference between what a channel and a station is. See, a channel is a signal, right? A station is usually a building, right? Where it houses a studio where people go and shoot. And the station, like, so when you go to a radio station, you sit in there and you broadcast from there, and it's a building. But with a channel is a signal, so you can be anywhere. Like, we're here, we're over there, we're streaming live in various different places. A channel is a signal. A station is a building. It's a brick and mortar. And you know, Crazy D has been was in brick and mortar for 15 years. I gave up my youth in brick and mortar, and so salute to all those that are headed into their 50s and going into opening stores now, you know. But you know, the store to me is a young man's game, and now I edit, I do my thing, and then I'm out there to make sure I cover events so people are seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. So I want to break down again. A channel is a signal.
Right.
A station is the brick and mortar that you are in, that you broadcast from. All right. So a channel doesn't necessarily need a station, but a station does need a signal. And that's what we do. We push a signal out so that people are seen, heard, recognized, and appreciated. And I believe by what I'm looking at that the signal is looking pretty good. We want to shout out to Scott, who just chimed in. Franklin G just chimed in.
Franklin.
You know, so we have a great show because we're going to be reviewing The Lion King, right? Right, so you want to stay tuned for that. And just in case people thought that what I had up on the screen was just meal tickets, here we go. You see that? This is the actual pamphlet. Well, it's not a pamphlet, it's a periodical. You go right in there, and we don't have to have a lot of pages because, you know, actually the magazine is a 17th century invention when they started writing down and doing the type and everything. So that's like a 17th century. We're in the 21st century, so you have to use what you have then to move us forward, because we're in the digital age. We went through textile, we're out of textile, went to service industry, and now it's going to go into robots servicing you. And so you have to be in the 22nd century already. So this, when you pick this up, all the instructions are there, how you can watch us live, you know, in your city, your town, globally, is right there on that paper. You take it, you mail it to your people in other cities, let them know what's going on right here in Las Vegas with the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society podcast, and everything that comes on lordlandfilms.com that you can see on vimeo.com/showcase/by Crazy D. And that's right there, if I can get it up there where people can see it. And it's not reversed because we're working with the dopest of technology. So there it is, vimeo.com/showcase by Crazy D. Yes, sir. And when you open up the pamphlet, we really want to talk this up, right? So when you open up the pamphlet, you're able to see all of the various interviews that are up with the stars that we have. You know, Crazy D has been putting in work. We want to shout out to all the people who make the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society podcast, on the road, bars, the music review show, and a new talk show that's coming up where we're going to be talking about topics that most people don't want to be talking about, but we're going to be talking about it. We want to shout out to all the people who make that possible. Now, before we get started talking about the Lion King, we have to talk about what we shot on Friday on Like It Is Radio with Franklin G. Right? Franklin G says, pick a night for dinner. Let me tell you a story about dinner. But okay, anyway. But we won't get into that right now. Listen. So, Friday we went over to the West Las Vegas Arts Center and West Las Vegas Library Theater, where there is a program for the youth, right? And you saw a little bit about it within the 15-minute opening. How you like our new 15-minute opening? You know what I'm saying? Well, it's a new 15-minute promo. You know, we have to change up every now and then. I got the people, you know, my peoples back in Cleveland are in it. My people here in Las Vegas are in it. Me and my wife are in it. You know, and the stars are in it. You know what I mean? So, we went there and we covered that, and the song that the saxophone player and the drummers did, I call them Brother Muhammad Trio, the Brother Muhammad Trio. I named the song theme from Like It Is Radio Movement 1. There's a Movement 1 and there's a Movement 2. You can see that video right now on Crayzon Deeyon. Right there on Facebook, beautifully. I edited it up, took time. You know, there were some technical difficulties, but we worked all that out, and I edited it up into a beautiful piece. And let me tell you something. When I swing the camera, I have to brag on myself. When it comes from the suite, from the Like It Is Radio Suite theme, from the Like It Is Radio Suite Movement 1, and it swings over to, well, you'll just have to watch and see what guest is sitting there next to Franklin G, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, Franklin just said, you see, you wrong. Okay, well, I don't know what I'm wrong about, but, you know, let's talk about that night at dinner. No, let's move on from that. Okay. So, the number, you see the number on the screen. It is 213-943-3358. You know what I'm saying? We got this down to a science now. We're working with it. Now, as soon as I say that, something is going to mess up. But here's something else that we want to talk about real quick before we get started. You know what I'm saying? We have to get all of the, what can we call it? All of the housekeeping out the way. You see this, people? This is the film review t-shirt. That's right. Now, we wear it. It comes in two different colors. It comes in gray. It comes in black. And it also comes in a light gray, right? We just dropped that out. Some of the people who are involved in the film review, they have the light gray. A lot of our correspondents, you know what I mean? So these shirts are available when you become a member. When you go over to lordlandfilms.com, lordlandfilms.com, there's different levels of membership, from emerald to diamond to gold to platinum
to pink.
Well, there's no pink, but we can make a pink shirt for you.
Lordland
pink. There is, isn't it? Yes. Yeah.
And yellow.
That is true. We do.
Sunflower yellow.
Sunflower yellow. Yes, you've seen my wife wear it on some of the other shirts. But listen. So you go there and you're able to become a member, and there's different packages and different levels. We have different promotions coming up for the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, and society show, and where we're going to be at movies and do things with the peoples, you know what I mean? So we want to definitely say that. Now, this right here, people. This right here. Let's get into this now.
Yeah.
There's no more need to wait.
No.
Right here, people. The Lion King
was worth the wait. Well worth the wait.
Was it worth the wait? Was it worth all of the hoopla?
Yeah, it was.
How did it size up? Did it size up to the original? Right.
I mean, well, first of all, the original. Can I say that our niece at the time, she was a little girl. We bought her the Lion King DVD.
Mm-hmm.
She played that DVD so much, the sound went out.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was possible. I thought my sister was exaggerating. So when I went over and put in the CD,
the DVD,
no sound.
No sound.
There was no sound on the DVD. So, yeah, just when we went to the theater, the children, they loved it. The adults loved it. And it made me think about the DVD set.
Yeah, it made me think about
So once this movie is released, same thing again. The next generation, the children will be playing it until the sound is gone, and their parents will have to go and purchase the DVD again. But they didn't disappoint. Great job.
Our topic for tonight is about solidarity, and this film really plays into solidarity,
it does.
right? So let's go through the cast real quick. Let's go through the
great
cast.
Okay, so Donald Glover, he plays Simba.
As an adult.
As an adult,
That's
because
right.
as a child, Simba is played by J.D. McCreary, and he did an excellent job.
Yeah, he did. He really brought Simba alive.
Yeah, he did.
And the way that they captured the facial features on the animals and the way that the sentimentality came through on the faces of the animals, incredible.
Beyonce played Nyla. Seth Rogen, Pumbaa, Chetwa Ejiofor, he played Scar. Billy Eichner, Timon. Zazu was played by John Oliver. Keegan was in it from Keegan.
Yeah, but they're not saying who he played.
Yeah, they didn't mention this character. Eric Andre played Ozzy. Alfred Woodard, Sarambe. I thought that was Angela Bassett.
No, she was the mother.
Yeah,
she was the mother of Simba.
Yeah, Alfred Woodard.
She did a great job.
Yeah. Florence Kasumba played Shanzi, and John Connie played Rafakuki.
Right. Now,
Amy Sedaris is also in it. Her character's name isn't listed. James Earl Jones.
Wait, hold it now. Give all the credit to James Earl Jones, because
excellent.
His way of, he's not narrating the story, but his power as the father of the future king is, as being king, is incredible. It was shocking because I didn't hear that he was in it. You know,
Oh, yeah,
like when
I
they when they do it, like all this
Right.
is listed over the internet. But what we like to do is see the film,
Right,
then
first.
go back and do the research on the film,
Yeah.
so it's fresh to us. So when James Earl's booming voice came across
Yeah.
the screen,
Yes.
it was, and he was playing the king. That was just
Beautiful.
incredible, right?
It was beautiful.
So, like I said, this movie talks about solidarity, but let's work it out. Okay. So Simba is born.
Right.
And the king, I would say the king of the primates,
Okay.
who is the probably he's like of the hyenas.
The
He's
hyenas.
kind of like a religious spiritual leader within. There's the king, and then there's the spiritual leader,
okay,
right?
okay.
And he, as the person is closest to man, seems to be the religious or the spiritual.
Yeah.
He holds the spiritual line
He's
together.
the Yoda of Lion King.
That's right. That's right. That's what you could say.
A wise elder. Right?
So you see, it's kind of, the story is kind of broke up in, like, if you watch Game of Thrones, you would see that there was the king, and then there was the church, and there was a battle in the European aspect of it between the church and the king. But in this, everything was in perfect harmony, and everyone played their part. It was the circle of life, as the story is told. So he's born, but then you're soon introduced to Scar, who feels he's the brother of the king,
Right.
and he that's right. And he feels that he should be king because, for some reason, I guess their father favored James Earl Jones' character, right? And so he's
Probably
like
the oldest.
He's like
Probably
starving,
Right.
and he wants it, right? So for some reason, Simba trusts the uncle. The uncle, the advisor, the birds played a part in it, and there was a bird advisor, and the advisor had told the king, you should have banished your brother a long time ago. But Simba, being that that's another man, that's his uncle, another male figure, and that's his uncle, he seems to be attracted to his uncle and believe what his uncle is telling him, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of situations, and then where the uncle is trying to get control by eliminating the line. And the initiating event that kicks off, for people who should have seen The Lion King, but if not, there's an initiating event, and we're not going to spoil it for you as I think about it, because we want you to go see the film. There's an initiating event where he appears to succeed, and then the story kicks off from there, and then secondary characters are introduced, and you hear the favorite song that came from out the original, and there's time passes, and it's beautiful the way they show you how time passes. And
that was nice.
Simba becomes an adult, which then he's
Donald
played
Glover.
by Donald Glover, right? And then Beyonce plays a character.
Yep, Nyla.
That's right. She plays Nyla as an adult.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Right? And so you have to see the film.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. So it was in 3D. You
And
have
first
to
of all,
see
just
it in
imagine.
3D.
So you know Donald Glover, he can sing, right? He had a successful album. He's not just a great actor, but he's also a really good singer. So just imagine Donald Glover and Beyonce.
Okay, right.
So they did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
The music was great.
Scratchmaster L chimed in. What's up going on to Scratchmaster L from Cleveland, Ohio? He chimed in. So
he DJ'd our wedding.
Yeah, he sure did. That's right. So we had L Dog do the wedding.
Right.
He did the reception. Scratchmaster L did the reception.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, people, we had a No Limit Records reception.
Yeah.
Right. Every record, because what was going to happen is I was going to. I had booked. I should have booked L Dog not only to do the wedding but to also sit side by side with Scratch Master L, because I was going to have 2 DJs at the wedding.
Right.
I mean, if you haven't figured out, you know, Crazy D was big on DJs because he was once a DJ and people respected him because he had his mix CDs out and everybody, you know, knew the ability of me at the time. But anyway, so look, so I was going to have 2, but the other DJ, which will remain nameless, sold out. Because when I told him who was going to be sitting beside him, I had him, I was going to have him do all of the, like, love and happiness, for the good times, all that. He was going to have the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know what I'm saying, and 80s, you know, the classics and the old school for the older heads that were in there. And then Scratch Master L, who could do it all, because his uncle is Bud McFarlane, who can blend without cutting, incredible, and the blends are just right on, right? But so he could have done it all, but I had told him just bring the No Limit and the Modern Records, and then boom. So that's what he did. So we had a No Limit wedding.
Everyone was happy.
You know, everybody was happy.
The dance floor stayed packed all
dance
night.
floor stayed packed with what's going on, y'all? The elders like, what's going on here? But you know, we've been married 29 years, right? And so what was going on there was what was going on there. You understand what I mean? So, but anyway, so yeah, so Scratch Man said I got off on a thing there talking about him. So anyway, let's start from beginning. It was in 3D. You have to see this in 3D. You have to see The Lion King in 3D. Okay? When it first opens up, the birds flying. The water splashes coming at you. Right? It just in the distance, the way they made it look like the Serengeti, right? I mean, it was just beautiful. It was just great, and they show you different geographies in Africa too. They take you from the jungle to the desert to the more tropical area, right? And so they show you 3 different areas in geography within Africa, which I thought that was pretty good. And the way that they introduced the characters, the way he met the people who would be his allies.
Right. Oh, that was.
You know, it was really good, and so it's well worth it. The use of camera movement and the use of CGI to tell the story, the way that they made the animals' mouths move, the use of the using, I guess they put the different points on the people's faces to get facial expressions, and how they incorporated the human facial expressions into the animals' faces beautifully. Beautiful. The storyline beautifully written. There was no doldrums. There was no
humor. Great
humor. There was no waiting around for things to happen. It was just beautifully done. It should be. It should go down in history as a classic. You know, they're releasing blockbusters this summer. Disney is 2 for 2.
Yeah, because Aladdin with Will Smith.
That's right. And let me tell you, unlike the other snafu, unlike the snafu that we reviewed a few weeks back, Spider-Man, Away from Home, or Long Way from Home, or whatever the name was. The kids walked out the theater smiling. The adults walked out the theater smiling. They were not perplexed.
Happy.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. So there's something that happens in the film, and
first let me say the director, he redeemed himself.
Oh, who's
because
the
director that did Spider-Man did The Lion King, so he did a great job.
Who's this?
Jon Favreau. So he did a great job.
No, what's his name did Spider-Man?
Oh, it says it right here.
No, he must have done the old Spider-Man. That's Homecoming. F. Gary
Far From
Gray.
Home.
Far From Home is F. Gary Gray. That's
no,
Homecoming.
he didn't do Spider-Man. F. Gary Gray, you thinking about Men in Black.
Oh, that's right. That was another one that was
You're
like
thinking
really,
about Men in Black.
That was another disappointment.
John Favreau said, "Don't put that one on him."
Don't put that one on him.
But F. Gary Gray did an excellent job with Men in Black.
A.E. Jessica.
Men in Black was good.
Men in Black.
Spider-Man was the one that weren't so happy
we
about
here
that.
at the film review, we have to tell the truth, because after we did our reviews, I went back and read other people's reviews, and it's no aspersion on F. Gary Gray, because it was what he was dealing with and having to deal with what happened. We talked about that before, but it was not at the level of 1, 2, and 3. That's all. So I mean, we could say that. But
compared to Will Smith, they really didn't have.
You didn't have that. You don't have a song. You don't have anything. So, but anyway, back to Lion King. We went off on a tangent there. Let's reel it back in now. So, Lion King. Storyline, we told you that's 10. CGI 10. Use and movement of the camera 10. The use of technology on the actors' faces to bring out the emotion within the characters, within the animals' faces 10.
The music 10.
Yeah, the use of birds and the use as the signaling of either the world is going to be fruitful or it's going to be desolate, beautifully done. The use of having the primates, the orangutan, be the leader. The use of the hyenas, the laughing hyenas in it, beautifully done. The whole thing. So there was something. So we were sitting there in the theater, and the little kids. There was a little kid beside us, right, and they had brought a blanket. Now that was smart because they have the theaters cold, so we bring our sweat jackets. You know what I mean? But they had the blanket. Him and his mom had the blanket, and as the songs were playing, his feet were rocking back and forth. And I told her, I said, "Look," and she was like, laugh. But there's something that happens in the film.
Oh, the mother was invested.
And what did the mother
in
say?
The characters.
And what did the mother say?
This film is so good that the adults were so involved, and there were like tons of adults sitting in the theater. Kids, Some that had children, but then there were a lot that didn't have kids, right? So this woman that was sitting next to us with her son, there's a scene in the film. This is like towards the end of the movie.
The last one.
Yeah, close to the end of the film. And this woman forgot that she was in the theater filled with children. And she screams out loud. She's what did she say? She said,
"Go straight."
She said,
"Straight to Hades."
She left her. She said. She said, "I hope that motherfucker burns in hell." Out loud, I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, this is a Disney film woman. And she kind of, she kind of was like, oh my God.
I was trying to leave the mother out.
Well,
I was just trying to clean it up. I was trying to say Hades. And,
that's what she said.
I was trying to keep the algorithm clean here. You know how they do.
The little boy was like, Mom.
But anyway, so Tamika just chimed in. What's going on, Tamika? Thanks for watching.
So that's how invested people were in these
this
characters.
Is a film. You don't need children to go see this film.
No.
This film is because all of us grew up on Disney, right? And there's controversy coming on about how the characters now are multicultural, not diverse, but multicultural.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I'm saying right. They're talking about that. But see, what people have to realize is, those people who are used to seeing characters only one way. That's why Captain America, spoiler, should have seen the last Avengers, but spoiler, Captain America was formerly Falcon, and now Falcon, who is a black man, is now going to be Captain America. The reason why Captain America, Superman, 007, James Bond, all these other characters were like they were is because we were in a system of white supremacy. And in white supremacy, black people were on the bottom. Now this is globally, so thus you wouldn't see them as heroic or try to press them as heroic. But now times have changed, and white supremacy is starting to crumble from the inside out.
Right.
Ooh, that's the worst way to go, inside out. But anyway, from the in to the out, oh man, you're just ate up and degraded. But anyway, so that's why the characters were Caucasian all the time.
Right.
Because we were in a state of white supremacy. Now that white supremacy is on its last gasp of air, you know what I'm saying, before it explodes instead of imploding, you're going to see the change of characters, right?
Right.
You know, so the truth will come out. So
what about first of all, the black woman? I have to look her up, but she's going to be playing what 007.
Okay, now they said she's the first African American.
Well, no, what this is the first African American Bond girl from years ago commented on it. Right?
Oh, okay.
And
okay, first of all, let's finish this up before we get on to Bond.
Okay.
Let's finish because we happen to bring that up, so we're going to go there.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
So, Lion King.
Right.
You have to see Lion King.
You have to.
Because it also speaks to solidarity.
Yes.
Right? And there is two things that black people, I've been here on this planet for a while, there's two things that black people don't like. And we're going to get to that in 1 second, but it has to do with solidarity, and we're going to talk about it in 1 second. But what would you give The Lion King?
I would give it a 10. 10 plus.
10 plus.
Because it was a great film. The music was nice. The pacing was really great.
Great.
The music was great.
Great.
And just the energy of the film.
The whole energy.
And it just made everyone just like happy in the theater, and people were laughing and
Come on,
involved.
mama.
And even the woman that was next to us who cursed out loud at the characters on the screen. A cartoon. Well, it's not a cartoon.
It's not a cartoon. It's a real life.
But
I don't know what you would call it. It's a hybrid.
Yeah, but you know, the film was so good that you become like invested. And this woman forgot that she was in the Disney film with a theater predominantly children.
That's right.
So it was good.
So I'll give it a 10.
Yeah.
Right? Now, speaking of solidarity, people, there is two things. And when I said that The Lion King had to do with solidarity, Scar did not keep solidarity with his own kind. He chose to go and have solidarity with a different type of species of animal altogether, right? So, you know, so this story is a perfect example of solidarity, and there are two things that I have seen in my life that black people do not like. Solidarity as a whole group without white people being involved. Oh, black people don't like that. Oh no. You got to have, you can't have all black people in solidarity doing something. It's something about that. And the second thing, which we're going to speak on today, is black people, when it comes to putting money or believing in something or someone that is dark black, oh no, black people will not go along with that. Let me tell you, I have been in the entertainment game for quite a number of years, and what I have noticed, it doesn't matter how great you are at what you do. If you are dark skinned, your own people will not put behind you, will not get behind you. You say that's good, but if you're light, close to white, oh, they're gonna go right with you, right? Now myself, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, right? So for me, I look at dark skin and I say that is beautiful, right? I look at all the diaspora, all the shades, but then all the diasporas of black around the globe, and I say, and all the different shades, and I say, this is just beauty personified, right? So when you meet a person that's like me, who would believe in dealing with people who, most of the people turn and say, I don't want to deal with that. That's dark skin. Now that's facts, people. Not all black people. I said when you meet up with people like me.
Oh,
because there are people.
You can't say all
there are. Now I'm getting to it. Now I'm getting to it. What I'm speaking of is self-love and self-hate. Right. So the self-hating will not want to put and push dark-skinned people, but the self-loving person pushes all different shades, dark, light, in between. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is, but I can tell you, solidarity. When it comes to solidarity, that is something that a majority of black people don't like. If there are no white people there or somebody else, they say, "Oh no, I don't want to deal with that." There's a majority. There's a majority because we're talking. This is a global situation. Okay. If it was not true,
okay, well you said
then
global.
But I'm in the United States. But just from what I read and watch, right, I can only go by, but I'm going by predominantly where I'm at in the United States, right, dealing with people and looking at it, right. But this is a global phenomenon because white supremacy is a global phenomenon. If what I was saying was not true, white supremacy would be over. Because people will say, I want to work with my own, we want to figure this out, we want to do this. But people, a majority, do not trust their own. And I will say that, and I've lived enough time on this planet to say that and say, that's the way that is. But when you meet up with someone who is self-loving, who loves themselves, because you have to love yourself to be able to love other people. When you have suppressed or have eliminated self-hate, then you can look at your people and say, because truthfully, this is honest and true. When I see white, I honestly see ugly. That's me. I'm like there's writings and you have to read the writings, but when the first Europeans came over, the African wrote in his journal, he said, what are these things with this pale skin and this stringy hair? And they don't tell you that the African, they tell you about France, like the first Harlem Renaissance people who went over to France, and they said the French would take their index finger and lick it to see if the brown came off. Well, they didn't tell you that if you read far enough back, you see that the African took his thumb, licked his thumb, and saw if the chalk would come off. Yes, that's what they did. They thought it was chalk, and they went. And they said, what's this? And they touched the hair, and they said that was and the African wrote, these were some of the ugliest people or whatever it was that they had ever seen, because all they were used to seeing were each other.
Native Americans too.
Native Americans. They said the same thing, right? So, speaking of solidarity, so there are two things, and I can say this, there are two things that black people do not like in this system that we're in right now. It is solidarity as a whole group without somebody white in it. Oh no. And dealing and putting money behind or pushing someone who is dark skinned. Oh no, they don't see the beauty there. But again, when you meet someone who does see the beauty there, then you would remain humble. That's what I'm saying. Because me, I'm a humble person. I have a lot of talents. I produce a lot of things, and when I produce, they come out top quality, and people, and they can't, and it's undeniable, right? But I let others say that, and I stay humble with it. And at the same time, like, this is the purpose. The reason why I'm saying this is many times, and this is a true fact too, people do not care about what you're doing. Most people don't care about your dreams, right? So when you meet someone that does care about your dreams, that is the assist. Like me, I can be Jordan, or I can be the sixth man off the bench, or I can be Magic and have the assist, right, to Worthy or to Kareem for the sky hook, right? I can facilitate. Many times you can be a facilitator. Now, myself, because I don't suffer from self-hate, right, or I suppress it, because I can bring it out when I need to, but I can suppress it, right? So I consciously suppress it. And so when I meet someone who has talent, I big up them. I say, oh yeah, man, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good. But then it gets to a point where the person gets to the point where they say, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And then they start looking at you, and you know, it's one thing to be on record and have that machoism, or but when you're off, most of the people who ever came into the store, because we owned the store for 15 years, any of the acts that ever came in the store that were humble, they're still going today, right? And majority of the people who came there were humble. But when you get people who don't realize that it takes a village to get you where you're going, it's not just you. So when you're pumping them up, all of a sudden they get to the point where they say, oh, I'm cold, I'm this, I'm that. I could tell you, when people get to that point, I'm like, okay, well, I just pull away and, you know what I'm saying, let you do your thing. Because what I know is most people don't care about your dreams. This is fact. This is fact. Most people don't care about your dream. And if you cut or try to be rude to the ones who do, well, you will be standing in the same place that you were standing in the very beginning, because the person that has the lights, camera, action, writes the action, edits, does all that, those are the people who bring the talent to life. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know how to do that, then you're just somebody that was talented. And there's plenty of people who were talented. But so that goes back to what we're talking about solidarity, and what we're talking about that. So when a person who doesn't have self-hate, who pushes black, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, because there's not many people who are doing it, because we're still in a system of white supremacy and people are in self-hate. And this is what go ahead.
I was thinking about like the one artist, and at first he this was at the store, in a regular store at the time, and he had said, well, I guess at first he was from Chicago or whatever, and so he would be humble. When he came in the store, he would be humble, and then so when he was signed to the label, you know, whenever he came to town, you know, well, prior to that, when we found out he was signed, we put up his posters and happy for him, and like selling and like pushing, you know, his product, and would play it for people who weren't familiar, listen to it, and you know, they would pick it up, right? So just on the strength that this guy, he just seemed down to earth, and would come in and would talk, and you know, at first I thought he was from Chicago. Now once he was signed and made it, I wasn't there today, but you had told me that he had came in with the rep, and he came with like this attitude, like this huge ego.
And I got your poster on the wall. You know, I'm pushing you out.
You used to be cooling down to earth.
Cooling down to earth, and then when you came in with a cigar. So it's just things like that. How
well, anyway, he's no longer hot on the charts.
No longer. But there are people who came in during his time that are still on the charts. So you see, so it wasn't just.
But then he went and had all this face work, and he don't even look like himself.
But it wasn't just obviously it wasn't just him coming in there acting that way towards me after he got
because he had a
on.
reputation.
Right, he must have had a reputation with me. So I can't tell because I don't really care. Because in actuality, if you show me that you are snaky or that you are rude
for no reason,
and you show me that, I'm just gonna mirror you, but my mirroring is gonna be worse. I'm gonna open your mouth. I'm gonna take the largest dump in your mouth, figuratively possible. You see what I'm saying? So this is what it is. So when we look at it, when a person takes interest in what you're doing, and this goes for everyone, because there are people within the industry who do not suffer from self-hate, and they will take a chance on people who are dark-skinned, right? Never cut that person, because if you cut that person, that you will probably most likely be, especially if you're on and you're moving to other places and you've made a bunch of movies, you made a bunch of music and you're selling, maybe. But if you're just beginning and no one has given you a shot, don't do that.
Oh, come on now. When you met Beyonce, she was humble and kind from the beginning. Still.
Because she looked, it was two retailers there. It was me and another one. She looked at him. She looked at me. She looked at him. She looked at me. And she tiptoed over to me. Kelly came on that side, and Octavia and I was on that side, and I was able to cut him out the picture. So she's always been a leader, but she had great personality, and they were nice people from all the time, right? So you don't do that, right? And you notice one thing about Beyonce when you watch her Beachella, she's pro-black, right? And so the diaspora was up there on the stage, and it was representing black excellence. You said black culture, right? And for all those people, who come in from other lands, who say that, black people don't have any culture, black people in America don't have culture. Our culture is hip hop, right? Our culture, our culture is hip hop. Our culture is jazz. Our culture is blues. Our culture is gospel. Our culture is the old Negro spiritual. Our culture, our culture comes in through our music and our rhythm, opera, all of it. That's right, all of it. So
that's just like during the Beachella when she performed that Frankie Beverly and Mays, when she did her own rendition. Who didn't know that song? Who haven't heard that song? And the music played in their homes and cookouts and reunions
and she did it so well that it was no doubt
so it's part of the culture.
It's part of the culture. So when people talk about bringing culture and stuff, our culture is, they took the strongest, they took the most brain filled to come here to be able to build, to be able to plant, because they didn't know how, right? So they brought the strongest to do it. So we're the hard walking, we're the hard talking, but all at the same time, because of what we went through, we have compassion for the diaspora. So when they come here, they kind of misunderstand the compassion. And they think that it's one way when it's another way, when, telling stories here. Now, I opened up a second location, and it was really right up the street, but it was like day and night. It was like a different day. I won't say day and night because, it was like day and day. And we opened up in Maple Heights. We opened up a store. And we got a feeling for the people there. There was what I would call, just my opinion, what I would call like some bourgeoisie, right? They were hanging around. Now, for people who don't know, like, Polish are some of the most racist, right? And so a lot of that area in there, Garfield Heights, Maple Heights is Polish, right? Some of those race. Anyway,
the people were really cool. You're
the
talking
black
about
people.
the people that were
I'm talking about the black people.
office.
No. I'm getting there.
Okay, because the people were cool.
Because the everyday people, they were cool. The everyday black people, cool. But then there were people who were in office or striving to be in office. So they had this song.
The politicians.
And this is what brought this up, because this was in The Lion King. There was a song in there where the warthog was singing, and they were like, in the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight, right? Oh, no, the lion sleeps tonight, right? So this was a running joke between the bourgeoisie and the Caucasian mayor, the Polish mayor in Maple Heights. From what I could see, just from me seeing, because I'm on the outside, but I'm looking in because I have location there now. So I'm looking at it, and I'm DJing this event because I still have my foot in there, and I have the sound system. So anyway, so they were at the thing, and they were singing this song, The Mighty Jungle Lion City. So it was a running joke, and I discovered what the running joke meant
in The Lion King.
No. I knew what it meant then.
Oh, okay.
But it rehatched it in me then. The song, he was using the song to say that as long as black people stay asleep, they're going to be able to run amok, because if the lion ever wakes up, and that's what the scene showed you. It was like, because they were friends with Simba, and Simba was a full-grown lion, and usually full-grown lions are predators. And they would be the prey, and they would go after them to eat them. But so they were singing a song, and they were happy. But then Beyonce's character came from out of nowhere, and Nyla, and she came, and she was getting ready to eat the warthog, right? Yeah. And so that struck me, and I said, I remembered that right then. That it's the line. So this is the whole thing with this. Because of what we've gone through in this country, we can have compassion for those, right? They come and say, but some, not all, but I'm going to say the ones I met, they seem to think they can get over. So I'm going to say, from what I've seen, all. But they take the kindness for weakness, and if the lion ever wakes up, when the lion wakes up, it's going to be trouble. And so that's what it was. So that was funny, but it really struck home in that song that Simba was not acting his natural self, but a lion that was acting its natural self brought that good time to an end. And that's what they were talking about in Maple Heights. It was the funniest thing. And I was thinking, why would black bourgeoisie be laughing about everyday black people if they ever wake up? But so that's what I'm talking about, solidarity. And there is a group here, and this is global now, because you can see it in different pockets. If it's not some overseer there, if it's not an opportunity to be in meritorious manumission, the people aren't interested in being involved, right? But here's a person that's been involved. You can just, I don't even have to talk my politics on my paper. You just look at it and you see my politics all over it, right? So, solidarity. And so those are two things. So when we solve that, when we're able to solve that and say, we want to be in solidarity with ourselves to work this out with ourselves, and we love that, and we love not only light, but we love dark. And that's another thing, light and dark. You can always tell when people are suffering from self-hate, because they will say, it was one of the darkest times. Slavery was one of the darkest times. And I would say, that's not right, because who was causing this so-called darkest time? I would rather say that was kind of a pale time. You have to, because words are spells, people. So what you use, the words that you use, like I'll use dark if I'm around people who I feel won't understand me saying pale, right? And black people now, and I will say dark but I'll say dark, and I'll say it with emphasis to make ridicule of using the word dark to describe something. So you see this, they're pushing that in the media, and you'll watch MSNBC or CNN, and the talking head will be like, this is a dark, they don't say it like this is a dark time. And I'm sitting there, why are you saying dark? Because it's words, black, black, negative, dark, negative, right? But when you're in the dark and your eyes adjust, your eyes are at ease more than they are when the blinding light of the sun is hitting them and you have to squint, thus causing you to sweat. So my point in that is saying again is, I will say, that sure was a pale time. Not a dark time, because, you know, the people who had you in bondage right there at that moment. Now, over in the dark continent of Africa, with the slave owners and slave sellers who happened to be black, what was that, the Igbo? The Igbo, yeah, the Igbo were the slave catchers and the slave sellers, and they participated in the slave trade, right? So the Igbo, you could say, well, that was a dark time, because did you know, people, there's an article that came out in 2018, and I gotta put it up there. I forget where it was. I was reading it. I read it months ago, but the New Yorker. It was in the New Yorker, and she was talking about her slave catching great grandfather.
Yeah, Yvette Cornell.
Yvette Cornell discussed it, right? But and so that's what made me go read the article. I'm like, what's this? Did you know that when the slave owners in Africa who were black died, they would bury their slaves with them to take them over to the other side? You know how you hear about Egypt, and Egypt, they have like the riches and stuff, to when they pass over to the other side, they would still have their riches or whatever. They had their favorite cat. You know what I'm saying? I think they did say they would mummify the cat would be alive.
Well, at least the cat would
at least the cat, right? But look, dead already, right? These people, sick, sadistic people, would bury their slaves alive. And this was common practice, and they didn't. Matter of fact, when slavery ended, when England abolished slavery, right? It was still America was the last, but not really. But no, America was the last to still have slavery. Yeah, but by that time they had their farm. Right. They had their farm, like how they talk about football and farm camps. Right. Same concept. Right. But anyway, when the English stopped, it killed their thing. So they were building up on their slave stock, so they would kill their slave stock for ritual to please the gods. Huh? What? Everybody, go read that article in the New Yorker. I'm gonna post it. I'll post it on. I'll post the poster up on it. It's on my Instagram. You have to scroll down some. Shocking. Yeah. So when you look at this, you have to ask yourself, who are the people who are coming over here and constantly talking about their culture and trying to down black people's culture as if we don't have any, right? And it's always a slight. It's always, oh yeah, we're here to do this, but we're here to bring you culture. Right. Who are you? Who are you descended from?
And I applaud the journalists who wrote it, and like Yvette Cornell was saying, ups to her for telling the truth. Right. Like what's really going on. Right. And because she could have just, like everyone else, they come over. Oh no.
So this is about solidarity, right? Yeah. And
but she said it's going on today, as far as who she wouldn't be able to marry someone
That's
outside.
true. That's right. If they're not an Igbo,
yeah. So
then that would be taking her out of her class system. So over there, it's class system.
Right.
So
she wanted to expose this so people can know what's going on and to educate people as far as,
and Chuck D says in a Public Enemy record, we are not all the same because we don't know all the same things.
Yeah.
And so to get closer to being closer to the same, we have to be on some of the same pages of the book.
Right.
So we have to ask ourselves, like, when people are coming over and they're trying to down, it's just a slight or whatever. And I say, well, we sat here and fought this, and we continue to fight this. If it's so good and your culture is so good, this is a fact. If your culture is so good, how come you still aren't there? Why did you come here? The richest country in the world. Why did you come here when you have all the riches over there that this country is taking and Dutch is taking?
So you're saying,
and
why are they not over there fighting the good fight?
Fighting the good fight over in their countries to make sure that all the riches stay there. What's that? I forget the metal that they use in the cell phones. Why don't you have control of that and make Africa not only just a continent but a country and own that? So that's what I'm saying. So when I talk to people who come from the continent, from different places on the continent, different countries to the continent, I'm like, I'm not wide-eyed and like, oh God. I'm like, okay, practicality. First of all, I need to know where you come from. Secondly, I need to know where you come from. I mean, what tribe?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What tribe? Don't tell me the secondary tribe. Tell me, did your people sell slaves? And if so, did some of your people bury the slaves alive?
She wrote it because she stated that her grandfather had passed, right? And up until he passed, he was proud of the fact that he came from a lineage of Africans who owned slaves and also sold slaves. So who were also slave traders. And this is a modern day, this is a journalist. This is a young journalist, right? So she talked about also how there are many Africans who and they know this, she said they have family members who were part of the slave trade, so that's where a lot of their wealth came from, she said.
It would be ancestors.
Their ancestors. Well, it was her grandfather. Great grandfather, right. So, and they still, they have the wealth from that.
But she would get the story from the grandfather.
Right.
That was her father.
His father. Right.
So,
and he was proud of it.
Right.
So she said there's a pride about that amongst some of them. But then they come here, then they put on a different face for us. But so it was an interesting article, and I think the reason why she wrote the article is she didn't say if she was raised here or if she knows the history.
No, she was profited. She profited from it. She did profit. Because anytime that you can travel to different countries, you know what I'm saying, you're profiting.
Well, she did profit from it, but I think because she knows Black American history.
I doubt that. I don't.
You don't think?
What I say?
I
mean, if you say Black American history,
right?
But I mean, that's a different thing because
I think if she was comfortable with it, she wouldn't have revealed it in the article.
I think she was proud of it. I think that's a misread. I think she was proud of it and she wanted to expose it and say, "Look, you Negroes.
This is what we really think about you."
Negro came about in Virginia when Anthony Johnson lost all. They went to court to designate a new term called Negro, and that's why Negro doesn't own land today in America. A way to keep those who once were indentured servants and in servitude in slavery from enjoying the full rights of being a citizen of the United States of America. So that's a whole nother story.
It's an interesting article.
Yes, an interesting article. But my thing is, that means that some of her ancestry could have sold some of the ones that sent some of my people over here, or sent some of your people over here, or sent some of the people who are watching people over here. So that means that.
Don't forget, some of us.
Wait. I'm going to get to that because of what happened.
Right.
What happened when they changed the designation of the Native Americans who were actually black,
right?
Not bearing. But anyway, that's
not everybody came over on the slave ship.
See, we have to get to that on another show,
right?
Because that's
a whole nother.
That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But I see people and I say, you look more like Seminole Indians, than you look like Africans. I see some of you look like Blackfoot Indians more than you look like Africans. But that's another story. But for those, because there was a mixture going on, because they took the designation away when they started the census, to go on ahead and say that there were people with copper skin, black skin, were just Negro or colored. They took
Indians and sold them into slavery.
Right. Okay. So
shipped them across.
Right. Yeah. Whole nother story. But my main point of this is that means that Africa owes not only America, not only the Europeans. I mean, not only the English and the other Europeans who profited, but Africa owes reparations to black people in America. We done got into a whole new can of worms. That means that, we need those reparations paid. There's a whole nother reparation situation that has to go on. Not only is Jamaica going to the English Isles or the English for them, but then they will also have to go to Africa
too,
right?
Because the Jamaicans are fighting for their reparations
right now, and we're not going to ask for yours. You know what I'm saying? But and then you look at it and you say, well, American blacks that were here 1619 and before, 1554 by some counts, they would not only be going to the different people who enslaved and brought them here, but they will also have to be getting reparations from Africa. And now here's the big thing.
And from Spain.
And you can go read my piece that I just did on Lordland Films in my blog, lordlandfilms.com, which talks about it. But that means that people may say that Africa or the Africans don't have any money. And this is true. Then you can't expect.
Oh, please! They have
when the lion awakes, the mighty jungle, is peaceful because the lion sleeps at night. When the mighty lion awakes and comes into full knowledge, because that's what the story was really about. The full knowledge of who he was as a lion. Simba, right? He had lived another life as a scavenger who ate little sticky things in the bark of caterpillars and things, and he still got strong from off of that protein. But when he awoke, when he awoke, and you see the elephants are starting to figure out who they are too, right? You see how the elephants are slapping people around. Did you see the one where the elephant slapped the chick was taking a picture and he hauled off and Cole cocked her around her face, dropped the camera and took the camera. But anyway, another story. But anyway, when the lion awakes, I don't believe, just my thought on it. And you can go read my piece at lordlandfilms.com. You go right there, you hit the blog, and you'll be able to read my piece. But I don't believe, just me, my thinking on it, that when the lion awakes, I don't think that the African continent, all different countries, can think of the black American any different than the Chinese or any other colonizers. And that's what we'll leave. Go read the piece, lordlandfilms.com. I don't think that the African continent, with what it owes, because they were burying people alive that they owned. Now, which one's worse? I posed this question at the table when we were having lunch one day. Right. You know, the more you learn, the more you have to put it out there, because remember, words are spells, so you have to, you know, dispel and respell, right? And so I say, which one's worse? Right. When the slave master died, you were buried alive. Buried alive, that means you were a kid, baby, grown person, buried alive with the slave master when he died. You could have been in the best of health, buried alive. Trying to say buried alive. Which one's worse? Being buried alive or being sold to the next in the airline because it was a business? Which one's worse? And which one's worse, that someone your own skin tone, which talks about solidarity, a lack of, and if see how I'm bringing this back around? Solidarity, and how people will solidarity as a whole group without overseer being there. Oh no, can't have that, right? And not having love of the skin to begin with, right? So how much value is in this? So which one's worse? Which one's worse? That'd probably be the poll that we put up when we redo this. Which one's worse? Being buried alive or being sold in the air, and then thus being able to keep your line going, and thus being able to get here to build this? Because if these slavers were the same here as they were there, then you wouldn't even be here. You know what I'm saying? So which one's worse? So when it all comes down to it, go read my piece, lordlandfilms.com. It's in the blog section. And I don't think when the lion wakes up, I don't believe that brother, because you know, if I was to go over there and you see the slave aisles when they walk through the castle or whatever, the door of no return, and they say you can walk in there and you can feel the spirit of those who, and they be like, brother, welcome home, brother, welcome home, and you're there. I'd be crying. And the first thing I would say, you know, because my lion is awake, I would say, if you can feel these spirits, that would make a great hotel. No. That would make a great hotel, and then you could have, then, you know, the Caucasian likes to have, like, go to haunted houses, right? And so they like to go to haunted houses. So you put that hotel in there, and they can feel the experience of all of them there be coming right out there. Oh, it was the worst experience I ever had, but I'll be back and pay my next $1 million to stay there again. You see what I'm saying? So when people wake up, my line wake, I say, hey, yeah, I felt that. I'll be saying, this will make a great hotel experience, haunted hotel experience. So anyway, people.
The James Bond.
Yes, that's right. So now, people, we just said, so that was solidarity. You see how I brought that back around? Go read the piece, lordlandfilms.com, in the blog. Leave your comments, and we can talk about it. We can go back and forth about it. But really, when you learn that they buried their own. Oh, but sorry, they weren't their own, because they weren't Igbo. But they buried their same skin can alive with them. Which one's worse? We wouldn't even be here. Think about that. Now, there was a lot of lynching going on after we were no longer a cash commodity, and they didn't know what to do with us, so they thought they would thin out the herd. But these people were burying their slaves with them, and after slavery ended, after the English abolished it and no longer had those roots, they started to sacrifice black people for God sacrifice. Huh? Come on. Okay, so anyway, people, did you hear about what happened with James Bond? You know, everyone was pumped. They thought it was going to be Idris Elba. They thought Idris Elba was gonna be James Bond, and the black man was finally gonna be able to be up there and be the hero and be around and be have all the different have the putty galores and the gold diamonds are forever and the gold finger. I thought was gonna remake some of those films, but did you hear the announcement? What's the announcement?
The British actress Lashana Lynch, she's going to be the next 007.
Now people seem to be happy about this because they're into this, black diaspora. I'm into it too. I'm into the black diaspora and I'm happy for that. But it seems that when people come here, they say, we don't have to worry about that because that never happened to us. But it happened in your area, and so there are people who are fighting to get that in your area. Don't worry about what we're doing. You don't have to have a part of it. You don't have to have a say. You don't have to have an opinion. Just come here where acting is better because you're not fighting over there in England to get acting roles. They come over to America, right? Like the kid who plays on Snowfall. He's not even black American. He's English actor, right? I mean, it's just really weird. Have no opinion on what's happening over here with black Americans. Just come over here and continue to profit off of what we did, or the set asides that were supposed to be put for us, that they give to you. Okay, but anyway, so
well, the one that's in Snowfall, he's fine. It's just the actor that.
Well, we don't know what his.
Well, you know what?
We don't know what his opinion is until he opens his mouth, and I'm sure since what's his name?
Well, Star Trek is the one who's open. Or is it what is that? Star Wars? What's that actor?
Oh yeah, him.
And he was going at Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, he was rude nasty to Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, the guy who stayed chronically froze like Han Solo and got up and said, "Where's?" And he was bulging his eyes in the whole film. What a disgrace!
And then he also went after. He was one of the ones that went after Spike Lee. She's got to have it because of the conversation.
Because of the conversation. And you know what? I just wrote a piece on the consciousness page. On Facebook, I have a consciousness page, consciousness, entertainment, and females, right? Politics, consciousness, politics, consciousness, entertainment, and females, right? That's the page on Facebook. You go there. I wrote a piece about She's Got to Have It, and Spike Lee had his pulse on the conversation between ADOS and black immigrants who come to the country, and it all surrounded around this retreat that was funded. Again, there's a group of people who they can't have solidarity without needing an overseer there, and so Spike Lee had his pulse on the hand of this, and so many people downed it. But go read the piece. I have that over there, right? And you can check out that piece. That's I think I have that both on LordlandFilms.com and over there on politics, consciousness, entertainment, and females.
So
page.
The British actor who starred in Star Wars and he played Finn.
What's his name?
John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
And he was going back and forth with Samuel Jackson. I don't know if it was like last year or and then most recently he had something to say about the Spike Lee show. She's gotta have it. So he's just
and Spike Lee has his pulse on there. So most of the time when I see people who are anti, especially some of our greats that have made cinematic history, I look at them and I say, where do you come from? I need to know where you come from and what tribe are you from, when it all boils down to it. Because once you start to learn more, you then have to educate yourself, research a little bit more, or educate you more, and then come out and ask people, what's your major malfunction coming over here telling us what we should be doing when you ran from your country? You should be over there.
It's so easy now. People can go to the internet and find out what Black history is.
That's true.
Know. Okay, so Trina.
Artisha just chimed in. What's going on to Artisha?
Trina Parks, the original Bond girl.
Black, first African American.
The first,
Black
Bond girl, played by Trina Parks.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she played the assassin Thumper in 1971's Diamonds Are Forever. She was in that film. And they asked her views regarding the new British black actress that's going to be playing 007. And they were saying that she's going to have a different name. She won't be James Bond. She'll be Agent.
She's going to be M.
Okay, so Agent 007. And so the original Bond woman, she's not happy about that. She says she just can't see a black actress playing 007. She said not a woman. So if they had given it to Idris Elba, she would have been fine with it. But seeing a woman play Bond, she said, is something that she's not too happy about. So
I mean, there are people who are on this because they are happy because they're looking at the diaspora and the Pan-Africanism, and yes, it's a woman, but what are they going to have a black woman doing, and then who is going to be her foils? And if she's going to be black, are her foils going to be black? I mean, can we change up the whole description of what's happening there? Because in the end, it looks like to me, because James Bond laid the women, right? He laid the women, so she's going to be laying, and for some reason that's going to look kind of. You know how they took Richard Roundtree's Shaft, and then they brought the TV series on, and then I watched a couple of episodes when they brought in a replay about maybe 10 years ago, and I said they made Shaft, who hung up on the police chief at the end, they made him more kind of coonish on the TV show. He was soft and asking permission, and I was like, so what are they going to make her if it stays true? What are they going to make her? She's going to be kind of like bed wenches.
I think a lot of people feel wenches. I think some people feel that there was like a movement these last few years to push for a black James Bond, a black 007, right? So it was pushed out there, social media, Idris Elba, and then I also heard Will Smith, and it's just like, so it was pushed out there for years, right? So then they're like, okay, well, let's do a black 007, and then they don't give it to Idris, in which the movement was pushed to, give it to Idris, or could have been Will, but then they give it to Lashana Lynch.
And her name is Lynch.
That threw a lot of people off.
Her last name is Lynch. I mean, not to put aspersion on her name, but her last name is Lynch. It's just like that actress with the Nega. Her last name is Nega. I mean, I think they would change the name because the person. I'm sure. How many directors did she have to swallow her pride to? When they would come in and say, they would pronounce it wrong.
From the tone who was being nasty and who wasn't.
Right.
But you know what? But I feel that because when you watch the James Bond films, there are multiple agents, right? And they could have had
well, they had a black female that was a co-agent with.
So why couldn't they have had Idris?
I can't think of his name.
In it as well. They could have had
her alongside. If they wanted to do the movies Us, Me Too. I mean, excuse me, Me Too.
So
they want to do that. They could have had her a strong co-agent or whatever. Right.
But I just think a lot of people, the whole movement was pushing towards a black male James Bond and Idris Elba. People were really, really pushing for him, and then kind of like a slap in the face, I think.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's good for her.
Good
but
for
it's
her.
kind of like.
But it's kind of like, okay, if you don't like this, then that's gonna cause some kind of wedge.
Right.
Because how come you're a black woman and you're not? Because everybody was pushing to see Idris Elba. Right. Push because he was James Bond. So that was good trick-a-ticks. And long as we're in this system, it's always trick-a-ticks. Okay. So this week's news, people. Have you had? Are you? Let me say it like this. Who else is tired of the way so-called news is broadcast out to the area in which you live? Is it always going to be propaganda, or will it be real? Right? We have been propagandized for years, right? And the way that they are pushing the news, like every day, every hour. First they tell you first, they say 45 wants to suck up all the air in the room. But then all they do is give you a steady diet of 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. That's all they do. They give you a constant diet of 45, 45, 45, 45. They're always talking. They're talking all this. They're talking that. They're talking about what he's doing. Now listen, for those who were not paying attention during the election cycle, the first time he was elected, the media is complicit in it. We talk about it all the time, but the media is complicit in this. They're going back to the same playbook. They're saying, the polls are saying, they're going back to the polls. Now, the polls last time didn't give you the answer to what this other. They thought Hillary was going to win. Hillary thought she was going to win up until the time she had the ballroom. Remember, the ballroom was filled?
Oh, yeah.
The ballroom was filled. And Hillary didn't come out to even address her people until the next day. All those people were there. She couldn't come out and concede. Right?
Well, she didn't want to do like
No, the votes were in. He had won the electoral college, right? And then they talk about that, but no one was caring about the whenever the person who wins, no one ever cares about the electoral college. So the person that you want to win doesn't, right? So a steady diet of 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. Nothing else in the media but 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. CNN
They're
does a steady diet,
but
they're asking at least they're asking the question: should we keep showing them? At least they ask the question, but it's still a diet of 45, 45, 45, 45. Right. When you ask it, the media horrible, right? So what are they going to say, and what do we hatched this last week, but his wife supposedly asked him about A$AP Rocky and getting A$AP Rocky out of the situation. Right. Now, we just heard, we heard a couple of days ago that they were planning on prosecuting him for what happened, right? Keeping him for another week. Right. So, and I noticed that some people were writing on Facebook that what are they going to do if he does this? Right. What are you going to do when he does this? If President Obama was in, right, would he have stuck his neck out to get another black person out of prison in another country? Would he have stuck his neck out?
Yeah, Jay-Z called.
I mean, no, I really don't think so, because he would have said, because the politic would have been different, and he didn't. There were so many people dying in the streets, and I remember it was those last few days left of President Obama, and Philando Castile's girlfriend.
Oh, that was sad. For the town hall.
At the town hall, and there was nothing but police around President Obama, police chiefs, beat cops, sheriffs, everything.
Right.
And she asked him, "What will you be able to do?"
Right.
And he sat there and he wilted. Did you just go onto YouTube and bring that up and just watch it?
Was that CNN or MSNBC?
I think it was MSNBC. I think.
Okay.
And he just sat there and wilted and said something from the speech he had done before, and then he went on and said that he told them right there in the room, "I need you as law enforcement to protect me and my family," because they get protected. So that told you everything
She
that
looked
you needed to know.
No.
Well, she just sat there and then he went off on some gobbledygook and they just spaded her out.
Yeah.
And she never really got a chance to say
they put
anything
the camera
else.
on her.
No, well, the camera was there and she was waiting for the answer. And as the answer went into gobbledygook, they faded her out, and you never saw her again on that presentation. So I honestly don't believe if Trump is able to deliver him out. I don't think that Obama would have been able to deliver him out. That's all I'm saying. If he makes the call, that will be at least twice that we know of,
Right.
because there's Kim K.
Right.
Right.
And Kanye, they also called Trump about A$AP Rocky.
No, but I'm saying, but Kim K went over there and actually got some people out on those Rockefeller laws, right?
Right.
So it goes to wonder, like, a person is who they are, right? And so you would say, okay, well, he's this, but he does certain things. Like the person was saying on the thing that entertainers or athletes, Trump is for black entertainers or athletes because he sees them in any of those standpoints. That's from a viewpoint of a journalist who wrote a book, right? Okay. He never knew A$AP Rocky, but his wife asked him to get him out, and if he gets him out, then what? And then there's the 10-point plan that no one has, outside of the so-called sellout preachers, have gone in to even look at. And we said we were going to bring it this week, but we'll bring it next week. So again, is there a decision that black people have to make? We got the people who are peddling fear. But what did John F. Kennedy say? The last true great Democrat, in my eyes. He took the bullet for it, and after that, they said no more. Johnson went through and pushed all this stuff through, and they said, wow, Johnson, a bigot, did it. Right? But anyway, look. He said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
You know who gave a great interview this week?
Who?
And Ebro.
Yeah.
Ebro, great interview regarding Eric Gardner. He interviewed the mayor of New York, Blasio.
Yeah, him.
He interviewed him, and he asked what people would say the tough questions.
Keep going.
He asked. So it was a hard-hitting interview. It was an excellent interview. I think that's the best interview I've seen with a politician in a long time. I can't think of any other interviews where, like, the person interviewing, like, really went, so you can see it. You go to Hot 97 and then watch the interview with Ebro, and he interviews Bill de Blasio.
That's right. So we're showing you the booklet, people. You see this? You pick it right up. It's the first periodical. And remember, print press and all that and magazines were before the 21st century, and even before the 20th. And so you use it sparingly to get a message across. But the rest, here's how you can watch us globally on Cox and through your smart TVs and your Roku devices. There it is right there. I'll leave it up there for a few more seconds. But you see, we're there, and then when you pick up the periodical, you're able to check out, and then you can see all the films that we do, right?
And then you can hear us talk about stuff like this. Like, had I not watched the interview, or really I listened to it because I was working, so I mean that was he really, because a lot of people are still upset because that police officer got off.
He got off.
Right. So Evil really went toe to toe with the mayor. Good interview.
Right. And so people, this has been another. Yes. We packed it with so much information that you have to unpack.
Right.
But the movie The Lion King talked about solidarity.
Yeah, it did.
Right? And how even in the midst of what would be the palest of times, that people still stuck and kept the faith and waited, and when their prayers were answered, and when the lion awoke, then all things changed. So go see The Lion King. Well worth seeing. That's the meaning of the film.
But you know what? Also, before we go, like in the film, it also showed you how you're talking about solidarity. Sometimes when it's not there, you just have to keep it pushing. Like with Simba's uncle.
Right.
Right? And tried to hang in there, and you have to see the film.
You have to see the film.
Sometimes it's not there, and you just have to keep it pushing.
You have to keep it pushing.
With like-minded.
And so that's it, people. This has been another great, robust discussion. So much to unpack. Watch it again and again. Search out what we're saying. Don't just take it for granted, or take it for verbatim.
Right.
Go search it out for yourself. Don't take it for fact.
Yes.
Go search it out for yourself. So, I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And this has been another episode. Episode 68. 68 episodes of the film review already. We are getting ready to head to the 100 mark. You understand what I'm saying to you? We're headed to the 100 mark. When you get to 68, you might as well just be saying you're getting ready to head to the 100, okay?
Okay.
You have been watching the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And we will see you next time on the film review. This is another great episode of the film review. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D. And this is the film review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. Sunday at 5:30 on Crayzon Deeyon page on Facebook. Live stream the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. This is the film review.
Welcome to TT's Real
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, you're saying.
Crazy.